Good evening. This is Michael Fontanella, Michael Porcelli right here. We are back on a short week from our Sunday night taping. We have a few special surprises this week, including a special guest who we flew down here tonight. But let's get right to rapid fire right now, Mike.
All right, you're not on fire.
I knew it, you're lying. I'm fired.
There is no fire.
Team Fish, welcome back to Long Island. First off, this week his head is in a good place, I can tell. He rolls up, drops 87 points. Ryan Matthews hurt him. Zach Ertz continues to disappoint. Crabtree, after a 3-touchdown performance, absolutely just was with a dud. He will regret not playing Pierre Garçon. The Haitian sensation Pierre Garçon was sat on his bench, and he lost by 5 points. If he would have played Garçon over Curley, he would have came out with the W. Huge upset it would have been. Moving over to Pickers, this should never have been a game in the first place, but Big Ben did get injured, which gave Jay a chance. Edelman still hasn't picked it up, not on the same page yet. Olsen continues to be solid, Gio's solid. This was a very tough loss for Team Fish, who has potential, I believe. Long Island Pickers hitting an injury bug, maybe declining soon.
You talk about one of the surging teams in Guru Nation. Look no further than the White Mamba on a warpath. 143 points scored. Odell and Eli have finally found their stride. 38 points. Christine Michael, an incredible late draft pick. He does this with his quarterback scoring 9 points. His star running back's 9 points. A very fine win from Mamba. Great things ahead. You go over to MMED, who has shown glimpses of promise at many different parts in this season. They are officially off the Blake Bortles bandwagon. Lamar Miller finally explodes, but sadly it wasn't enough. I don't think anybody was going to beat Mamba this week. Tough matchup. Bad luck with the draw. I think MMED will find a way to remain relevant throughout the rest of the season.
Porch, I just think, sorry to just interrupt you. I just think MMED, they make bonehead moves like starting CJ Uzomah. And that's the kind of things that will continue to allow them to just be mediocre. Couldn't have written the script any better for me and any worse for Twan Squad. Fozzie Whitaker, I don't have anything to say about that. Matt Forte all of a sudden seems to be second fiddle to Bilal Powell, possibly?
I hate to interview, I just want to say one thing. This was the Matt Forte that I was afraid of coming into this season.
Alright, moving on. He had the wife-beater Josh Brown in his kicking slot. Puts up 9 points. Pretty good. Kirk Cousins, you like that? 17 points. Starvin Marvin, another 8 points. Only had 2 catch for a touchdown. Hill continues to disappoint. Yeldon continues to disappoint. I'm just going to keep playing them because they're bound to have a good week one of these weeks. And I'm just going to keep going with them. Shady gets injured in practice this week, but had a huge game, 32 points, carried me. Cam, welcome back to the lineup. Had 27, fuck you, Derek Anderson. Hopkins finding it again. Kelsey, I don't want to talk about it. And this was a huge win for Team Fontanella. These are the kind of wins that will come back later in the year and haunt Twan Squad and help Team Fontanella.
We all thought that TCP's victory over Team Font was a fluke. I think we can all agree that it was. Only 77 points put up this week. Tyrod, 20. That's about it. Eddie Lacy in the IR, only 7.6. They started Arian Foster again. Bennett banged up. Antonio Brown no longer a part of the squad. Willie Snead they're bleeding, and they're plugging in all these waiver wire options to stop it, and nothing's happening. TCP slowly bleeding out. They do need a medic. They're slowly bleeding out. Deep's Nuts finds a way. Commish very resourceful. Outside of Terrence West of all people, who he's desperately been trying to shop since week 1.
Disrespectful.
Carries him to a win. Very mediocre, very, very mediocre performance outside of Terrence West. I'm not really going to get into it, but you know what? You got to respect the Commish. He always finds a way to win these games when his back's against the wall. I don't know how he'll do against tougher competition. I think he's got to figure that out going forward.
This was a disgusting matchup all around, any way you look at it. The final score was 73-58. Dennis Hassett is a joke. We talked about this in the previous weekly. I won't get into it now. Fun fact here, I actually just got this in from our statistician that's on staff, is Real Young Gun has been on a 4-game winning streak. However, his points against has been very light. So, yes, the record is nice, but how will he fare against your pickers, against your Mambas? Possibly. This is a win's a win, right, man? Real Young Gun gets a win, 72-58. I don't like the start of Jesse James. Sounds like a country singer. I don't like the start of Quincy Enunwa. Steelers D put up 0. I didn't see that coming, but that's fantasy for you. Moving over, we already spoke about Dennis' team. He started Orleans Darkwa and Brian Quick. And that's all I have to say about that. He started 2 Mepham JV high school players, and he scored 58 points. What a shot.
It was a hell of a run. 5-0 is probably the best start you've ever had to a season. But you knew this was coming. The world knew this is coming. You could average 200 a game. It doesn't matter. You were never going to beat me. You never beat me. We've been playing fantasy for God knows how long. We've been in 2 leagues together. You have not beaten me in 8 years.
Guido.
Sky is blue. Water is wet. Mike Porcelli whoops David Goodman's ass in fantasy football. You are my bitch. Nothing more. Matt Jones, 20. Kobe Fleener, 23. Cam Meredith, my Lord and Savior, 17. Eagles D. David Goodman. Kevin Coleman.
Started Kenneth Dixon.
Doug Baldwin. Jordan Howard. Even if they put up good numbers, it doesn't matter.
How is this a 5-1 team? I'm sorry.
David Goodman, you are on the decline. You are my bitch. You are 5-1. On to the next matchup.
Sam Namath is scoring 95 points consistently. Not consistent. He is not scoring points this year. That's just the bottom line of it. I think he's averaging around 90 or so points. Moving over to Jacobs real quick. Drew Brees had a huge breakout game. James White and LeGarrette Blount both starting. We commend you for that once again. That is such a Jacobs. Now I can say it. Such a guru move by Jacobs.
That's such a I don't give a fuck about anyone move. Just like the commish said.
Yeah. Shut up, mom. Gary Barnidge still hasn't done much. Demaryius Thomas, who I traded, had 4 points. Eli Rogers? You know what, Porch? You know what, Sports? Good for you, man. You start Eli Rogers probably because his family was in town, and you just are such a good guy.
You could do worse than 5.5.
Say my name is. Like I said, they just haven't. They haven't been scoring 50 points a week, but they've been scoring not as much as we're accustomed to seeing them score. They have he's gotten hurt with Jamal Charles not being consistent and not being on the field. Benjamin is so hit or miss again. He's questionable again this week. Delaney Walker is not the tight end we thought he was. That's for sure. I thought he was going to break out against Cleveland, but it's not the case. Put up 2.6 points. Jonathan Stewart, welcome back to his lineup. Moving forward, I think Sam Namath will continue to become like a 500 team, and Team Jacobs could be going all the way this year. We don't know.
Mr. Bobby, come on down here. Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah!
Week 7 approaching. A lot has gone on in the league. Incredible that the season has gone on so quick. And we will start this episode with everyone's favorite new segment, it seems. The group seems to love it. We'll find out who Michael Fontanella's Come On Man Owner of the Week will be.
Our Come On Man of the Week is going to be a team that he's very respected around this league. Jason Foley, back on Long Island turf, and he starts Jeremy Curley over Pierre Garçon. Now, this doesn't seem like a huge come on man until you gaze a little bit closer. Jay lost by 5 points. He was contemplating, do I start Curley, do I start Garçon, Curley, Garçon, and he decided to go with Jeremy Curley based off of his previous game, and I told him not to.
Cap wasn't at the helm, man.
And he continued to go for it, and Jay lost by 5 points. If he starts Garçon, he wins that week. Every win in this league is a huge win, I believe. It could make the difference later on down the road, and it's a huge momentum builder for your squad as a family. And that's my Come On Man of the Week. It's not a crazy Come On Man of the Week, but it's going to be this week. Jay hurts himself by not plugging in the Haitian sensation.
I still got my tickets, Fish. I want to upgrade the VIP. Give me a reason to upgrade those tickets, Fish. Give me a reason.
I'd sell them while they're worth face value. We would like to bring in our guest for tonight. It's our Roto World Fantasy Trade Expert Analyst. And we would like to welcome Daniel Costa, the White Mamba, to the show. Thanks for taking some time tonight. We appreciate you coming down. I know it's been a long week for you. We want to just talk about some trades. It started off with the MMED got the ball rolling. Now, Coach Jim receives Carlos Hyde, and MMED receives Matt Ryan and Kyle Rudolph. Mamba, let's get your thoughts on that really quick.
All right, so this deal was done, and minutes later, Carlos Hyde is reportedly in a sling. Now, the first thing that I think of is, did MMED know about this?
100%
Exactly. Coach Jim, I guess he didn't send his doctors to San Fran for
you gotta take the physical.
On Hyde.
Shit.
I mean, that's just from a 5-1 team. Don't you think he'd be doing that?
5-1 team.
MMED here, they get their quarterback, they get their tight end, but Bortles versus Oakland this week, I might have stuck with him for one more week, but they're believers in Matty Ice.
And the bottom line is here, Mamba, is they are savages and not the good kind, and they realized that Carlos Hyde was injured. They got word of it, and they said, let's get rid of him. Sell. Now, that's just a dick thing to do, because taking advantage of a guy like Coach Jim, who we know is not sober past 5 p.m. every fucking night, This is it's painful to see them take advantage.
That ruins the integrity of this league. Really
if
does.
It wasn't ruined enough by them being in it.
And Hyde's out this week, so
enter Mike Davis, who Twan's trying to shove down my throat. We'll get to that later. Moving. Next trade I'd like to talk about was Michael Didino's first trade of the week. This was definitely, I'd say, the biggest trade of the week. Would you agree, Mamba? Include the most star power?
yes.
Didino received Antonio Brown, and TCP, in a desperation, receives Terrence West, Isaiah Crowell, and a one-legged Dez Bryant. Mamba, I look at this trade, and I can't help to think that TCP was paid off by Didino to accept this trade.
I don't even know where to start, honestly.
Start somewhere.
I really don't even know where to begin. Doesn't Brian Cohen go to Duke? Doesn't he go to Duke?
Can I get into Duke, honestly? I don't understand.
Probably. What the hell? You trade the #1 overall player. I understand that if you want to trade Antonio to get more pieces, since your team is terrible.
Right.
But these pieces.
Right.
Isaiah Crowell? He's not even the best running back on that team, but that's for further discussion. Des Bryant, he hasn't even been back yet.
You don't even know what his rapport with Dak Prescott's going to be.
At the very best, he's a wide receiver too. At the very best. At the very best.
This was a total name grab, I would say, of throwing Bryant. This is a total Didino move. He talks up guys like Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell. He talks them up to be bigger than they are, and then he throws in a name like Des Bryant, who hasn't touched the field. TCP, not a smart move.
And then minutes later, or hours later, Des Bryant apparently cuts his finger chopping carrots. And TCP in our group chat is, this is hysterical, we can't catch a break. Don't give me that shit.
You know what?
You can't catch a break because you drafted terribly. You're a joke of an organization. That's why you can't catch a break. You're a joke. A joke.
It is painful to see a team like Team Didino benefit from this. Because for all we know, this could be the move that wins Didino the league. We're a long way from finals and whatever the fact. But yes, I understand Antonio Brown is getting the ball thrown to him these days by Ben Hoffman. However, I think that Antonio Brown getting his. There's a bottom line. They're gonna force feed him the ball. Just a bad move.
Big Ben will be back, and TCP. This doesn't even help you. It's like
you got
just why?
Because they were going for running backs, and Didino talked them up to be great running backs. But the truth of the matter is, they're Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell. What are they at best to you? Are they a flex maybe at best?
At best, Terrence West is a low-end RB2. Crowell, honestly, on a good team, is on the bench.
Thank you.
On the bench.
Thank you. Bench.
First, wait, hold on. Didino, last year's draft, locks Jacobs in a closet.
I remember that very, very well. So does Jacobs' asshole.
Mistake me if I'm wrong. Didino flew back from Florida. He could have stopped in Carolina and did the same thing to Cohen. He could have locked him in a closet for
all we know. Didino has a thing with closets and trades, and it pains me to see that Mike Didino get stronger through a weak team like TCP.
Would this trade even go through if it wasn't with the commish?
Thank you.
Would it?
These are the kind of things that is this league getting a little corrupt? We will move on to the next trade before that gets out of hand. We'll return to that at a later date. The final two trades of the week were a little bit lower profile. New England Porches receives Rashad Jennings, which is he's starting back. He's not our lead Darkwa, that's for sure.
Not a very good one.
He plays running back, that's all we know. And Didino receives Dennis Pitta. Now, we have a insider very close to the situation, a very good source close to the situation, and his name is Mike Porcelli. He was involved in this trade, and turns out, hours, if not Porch, take it away, Porch. If not minutes after trading away Jennings, Didino is begging for Jennings back, begging.
Would not say hours. It happened. I think, let's say the exact time.
Pull it up, Porch. I want to see the exact time.
Let's see the exact time here. Let's find Mike.
Hoyer looks crisp tonight.
Oh.
3 and out.
So, okay.
He'll get him in 40 seconds. Gone.
Okay, so 11:33 a.m.
Fact check. Hillary.
Yeah, he sends me his bench of waiver wire at best players.
I
Mosinus,
hate that screenshot
the Tavon
of all the
Austin.
shit.
Interested in any? I said maybe Jennings because I am desperate for a back. I have only one back right now. None of them are too great, but Jennings is a starter. He's a name. I'm driving. I got to get to school. Then I say
Keep going,
straight up
Porch.
Pitta for Jennings. He responds, "I'll do Jennings for Fleener or Niall Davis for Pitta." I ain't budging. I play hardball. I say it's Pitta for Jennings or it's nothing. Done. Accepted. Trade goes through. I reply, he's a pleasure. Always classy to do business.
Alright, keep going.
3:37 p.m. I need Rashad back. Bad.
Capital.
Indian giver.
Capital B-A-D.
Capital B-A-D. Not going to happen.
Mike Didino is an addict. He's an addict to trades. It is becoming an issue with this
He
league.
makes you look quiet.
He does make me look like somebody that doesn't make any moves. Now, the thing that annoys me is Mike Didino must have sent that screenshot to every owner and their brother and mother of all the players that are available on his bench. Okay? Mike Didino is the type of player, and I wrote this down. I was just jotting some notes down today while I was supposed to be working, and I said this to myself. I said, Mike Didino, the type of guy to bid $0 on a player and then force him down your throat until you accept him, until you accept that trade. He is the kind of guy that will make you take Tavon Austin. He's the kind of guy that does that. He bets $0 on people and then he tries to just dish them off like he's got a great player on his hands. It's annoying, but we're getting out of hand here. We only have our trade expert analyst here for a few short minutes. Porsche, can you please exit the photo so we can continue? Porsche, please move out of the photo. Thank you. Final trade of this week was Lauren Pickers receives the red. What do they call him?
Rifle.
The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, and Zach Didino receives Eli Manning and Mike Wallace. Or should I say he receives Mike Wallace?
Yeah, Eli means nothing here.
Why? Can you please explain to our
You have
uneducated?
Tom Brady, right? I mean, I guess for a bye week, I don't even know.
But what did he just do?
It's just pointless.
He picked him up.
He got a wide receiver 3 that might help him, and he fucks me over because now I have to face Dalton. I was playing Eli this week, and honestly, whatever points Eli scored, we're probably going to Odell. So now Dalton plays the Browns, and I'm not liking Zach right now too much, to be honest with you.
The bottom line is that Zach had just picked up. I mean, the Pickers had just picked up Eli Manning that day, and then he gets shipped to Zach.
The Pickers wrote in the group me, we need a quarterback or something, or who wants Dalton, and the deal was done in like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is.
And then he writes, "Welcome to the league. Welcome to your 6-0 Pickers, Andy Dalton."
Like he's a huge free agent signing.
Andy Dalton wants out already. Out.
I hope Andy Dalton lays such a clunker.
Oh, please.
How much would you pay for a Dalton egg?
I would love him to just zone in on CJ Uzomah this week and absolutely shit the bed. Dan Coster, always a pleasure as usual. Such a classy guy. We wish you continued success with your team. Thank you for taking some time. Be sure to vote November 8th, folks.
Build that wall.
Well, that was a phenomenal trade talk segment. A lot of knowledge learned, possible corruption learned as well. But that's the date for another time. A lot of time has gone on. It's time to preview next week's matchups. Bring up the board. Here we go, Week 7 matchups. To remind you of the score of our little game, I am 14-14. Michael Fontanella 15-13. Oh, let's go down. Oh my, Cobb almost gets in there.
Corn on the Cob drops ball.
Back to the matchups. Begin with Team Fish versus Team Fontanella. Tough one to pick. sometimes both of these teams have had situations where you pick them to win, you think they're going to win, and they end up falling just short. I think this could be a big Michael Fontanella story of keeping forward. A couple of injuries usually finds way to win after a couple of injuries. Deef's nuts. Tuan Squad, another 3-3 matchup. Tuan Squad has more firepower. Tuan Squad gets the win. The really young gun, Magic Man El Diablo. Like we said, what will happen when the really young gun faces a team that can score big? I think MMED crushes Zach. New England Porches versus TCP. I think this is a big chance for me to continue my road back to 500. Hopefully I get the job done. Neps 3-4. Say My Nameth, Derp Sauce. Derp will be defeated. He scored 58 points last week. Doesn't matter how mediocre Say My Nameth has been. Mediocre is better than Derp. Team Jacobs at 4-2 versus Coach Jim. Two high-powered offenses. A lot of people think Coach Jim is falling off the tracks. That's what's going to happen when he takes on his pimp daddy. Team Jacobs, 5-2. Font.
My picks this week: Team Fish versus Team Fontanella, 2, 3, and 3 teams. Jay has a pretty good team. I'm gonna win though. I am starting Jack Quiz, Take a Quiz Rogers, and Mike Gilsley. Shady is out. Mike and I spoke along with Rex this morning, a 3-way call. He's going to be very much involved in the offense. Shady watched from the sideline, getting better. I will win this week. Move to 4-3. Jay still has a decent team, 3-4. Deef's Nuts versus Tuan Squad. Thanks to TCP for rolling over. They give up Antonio Brown to Deef's Nuts. Deef's Nuts will win this week and move to 4-3. Tuan Squad struggling to find running back depth, falls to 3-4. Real Young Gun, Magic Man El Diablo. This is a pretty good matchup, I think, here. I think MMED does win this week. I think their veteran presence in the locker room will prove to be the difference this week, and they will win. Zach falls to 4-3. Magic Man El Diablo 4-3, above 500 finally in their lives. New England Porches versus TCP. New England Porches wins. They are just a better person, a better organization, better team. TCP is nothing. They're nothing. Say My Nameth versus Derp Sauce. Speaking of nothing, Derp Sauce will lose this week and fall to 0-7. Say My Nameth wins. Improves the record 3-4. Could be on something. And Pimp Daddy Jacobs, as Michael liked to say, versus Coach Jim. He is going to win this week. Team Jacobs will. Coach Jim, I cannot believe he is 5-1. He is not a 5-1 roster. He will not continue this success. I am I'm selling my stock on David Goodman if anybody even wants to bite on it these days.
Now, game of the week. Now, it took some convincing from Team Fontanella. Very good convincing, I might add. While statistically it's not the biggest game of the week, realistically, from the humanity perspective, from what is literally the biggest game matchup, it really is, simply because we have the White Mamba, red hot, coming into town against a wounded, bye-stricken, Long Island
hated
organization. If there is any week to defeat, if they've ever been weak enough for a loss, it is this week. Let's ask the man himself, what do you think about how you stack up? Because right now, Vegas has you at a 6-point favorite.
You cut the shit with the Vegas.
Hey man, there's the odds. There's a line. There's a line. It absolutely makes sense.
Well,
Mamba, we are all on your side this week. No pressure. Keep going.
I'm trying to win for the good sake of the league.
Please.
The Pickers, do they have any alliances?
Is it Cam Meredith?
It might be MMED, but
Bill, oh my
God. I mean, Alex Smith, I love Alex Smith this week. I'm streaming my QBs. I love Alex Smith. If he can outscore Andy Dalton, I'll be thrilled. CJ Anderson on Monday night for the win?
Wow.
We'll find out.
Stay tuned.
Melvin Gordon, I mean, the guy's going to fall into the end zone. Cooks, who knows? With
Could
Cooks.
be huge. Could be
Who
nothing.
knows?
Odell will play. You
Yes,
bucked him?
Odell will definitely be out there in
London.
London. Like, what's more likely to happen? Odell's going to suck in London, or Odell's going to ball out across the globe?
Let's think.
He's gonna ball out.
He's not trying to find more fans.
And the Pickers, their Vikings defense is so
It's been their rock.
So good.
right. It's it's basically the heart and soul of
He's
their
been
team.
their
To be
anchor.
honest, I say the Bengals D outscores them this week playing
Wow.
Cleveland.
Yes, that could be.
Yeah, I
think-
agree.
I think. So I'm guessing
Minnesota off the bye?
you're picking yourself to win this week.
Absolutely. I've been holding on to the Bengals defense for 4 weeks just for
Just for
this
this
week against the Long Island Pickers.
We've been planning for months against the Long
Now,
Island Pickers.
2 weeks ago, the Long Island Pickers told me I was lucky, this and that, yada,
Chirp,
yada,
chirp,
yada,
chirp,
all bullshit.
Chirp, chirp.
Okay, I said I would beat them 2 weeks ago. They did not realize they had Zeke and Groli on bye. Now
Because they are not good owners.
now they're a little nervous.
Jack Doyle gets the start.
Revenge game. He was a Mamba at one point.
Now,
Pickers are nervous and they know it. They are nervous. They will fall
no,
6-1. I can't wait to beat them.
Bellamy.
good luck, Godspeed this week. We are all pulling for you, Mamba.
Yes, and our picks. I am picking the White Mamba.
I'm all Mamba this week.
White
And Dan
Mamba.
Costa's all Mamba.
In Mamba we trust.
We would like to talk about a very interesting dynamic that has been placed into the league this year. It's the waiver wire budget. Every morning at 11 a.m., 11:01, I am on my phone, on my app, looking if I received any presents from the waiver wire gods. Some huge ads this week. Jay Ajayi, after his huge performance, put up 200 yards. He comes out of nowhere.
It's a mirage.
Ooh.
You'll have your
Mirage.
turn, Mamba, please. Now, they bet $110. I bet $101. I
45.
personally, I commend MMED for making this bold move. I think they spent a lot, but I think they could have. I think they may have. I don't know. I'm not crazy about Ajayi. I think they may have received a lot with their bid. I am all for with them spending their money and not just letting it stay there. I think it's smart. I myself needed to pick up a handcuff this week since Shady's out, so I had to pay up $60 something for Gillisley and $73 for Take a Quiz, and I don't regret it because yes, I only have $10 remaining for the rest of the season. However, if you're just missing one piece and you can find that piece on the waiver wire, I don't see the purpose in just holding on to your money. If you can complete your team with one player, and it takes one guy, and you have to pay up for that, I do not think that there's an issue there, and that's why I commend MMED for making that move. Mamba, thoughts?
Just money. First of all, Reed Gonzowski, okay? He says
Wow.
MMED.
That is a name we rarely hear on this show.
Is he even in the league?
Does he make moves? Does he have any say? Nobody knows.
Who's wearing the pants in the team?
He's just locked in Hoffman's basement.
Reed Gonzowski said that they do not need the waiver wire money, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, so week 7. We'll see what happens in a couple
exactly.
weeks.
Ridiculous.
And I think I mentioned this in the group.
So you're against what I'm saying pretty much. You're opposing me.
I get your point.
Like, we're not against you. We just like, if you're willing to pay, this is the rest of his season. If you're willing to pay the rest of the amount of cash that you
got
have,
6 weeks left.
You better be on the ball. Better hope that Ajayi is going to be a top 5, top 10 back. And is he going to be that kind of player for the rest of the season?
I think he's outside the top 20, to be honest.
Wow.
You got to look at Miami's upcoming schedule. I mean, I don't know what it's looking like, but
But it's Jay Ajayi.
If Jay
Ajayi
Ajayi can become a pro bowling monster that averages 17 points a game, then yes, it was worth the money. But
Foster is going to be sprinkled in there. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be sprinkled in there. Maybe some Kenyon Drake. Who
A
knows?
little parsley on top.
But the Dolphins are always going to be losing, so they're not going. Ajayi's not going to get 25 carries. He'll be
and
lucky to
Arian
get
Foster
20.
is still in that backfield, and he's supposedly 100% healthy all of a sudden. But I think we can all agree on one thing, and that one thing being that this whole budget and money waiver wires makes it so much more exciting. I personally am a fan of it. I think compared to how we used to do it, I'm actually disappointed that the league did not switch over to this sooner.
Could have changed championships.
I love the fact that in the past I would, if I'd be like, for example, I was 1-3 a week ago, and the fact that it's in my power whether or not I get somebody. I can put $10 on Cole Beasley. Pickers put him for 22. You know what? I could have bet more. I have no one to blame but myself.
If you really want somebody, you have the opportunity to go get them.
Exactly.
You have the opportunity.
I paid $22 for Cameron Meredith. All of a sudden, I feel like my team has turned a new leaf.
See, I only have $10 remaining on my budget.
Doesn't that scare you, Fawn?
It scares me, but it actually excites me a little bit because I mean, just because I think personally, I know LeSean's hamstrings, and they've been screaming at me for years. And LeSean this hamstring injury will linger, so it's kind of bad on me for not getting his handcuff sooner. But I had to pay up for it a little bit, which I did. And I think Jacquizz Rodgers, it's not a test, it's a quiz. I think.
Did he pass the quiz?
Will
he pass the quiz?
Stay tuned for next week. I will give you the test result. The quiz.
I like Jacquizz.
Not the test results, the quiz results. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Martin's out indefinitely. I like Jacquizz.
I think Doug Martin may not be seen for quite a few
Doug Martin
weeks.
got paid. He doesn't want to be back out there.
No, and especially if I'm slipping him from 20s, let Quiz get a little chance there. Jacquizz Rodgers can play.
Wait a minute, I think it's going to
Rodgers going deep.
Pass interference. Bottom line is, we commend our commissioner for bringing this into our league. I don't know if he came up with it, but we would like to continue the waivers like this. Very good job. Anything you want to touch on as far as waivers go, Mamba? How much money do you have left?
I have around $147.
See, now that could come back and save you. Like if you are if you're the kind of person like Mamba, what he's doing is he's saving for that one chip at the end of the season.
You know what?
That's going to win him week 12 and 13.
You know what we could do right now? Let's have a league-wide money check right now.
Money check.
Let's have a money check. Shing, shing. Let's do it. We'll go down.
Half the season is
we'll go
left.
in no particular order. Let's go down. Derp sauce, $163.
But we don't need to worry about him.
TCP, $114.
Or him.
Say My Nameth, $130. New England Porches, $149. Deef's Nuts, $67. He's hemorrhaging. Twan Squad, $158.
Comfy.
The White Mamba, $147.
Comfy.
Right around my ballpark. Jason Foley, $173.
Fish
That's a
actually
man
has
who's not been spending.
$210. He's gained and he's got interest because he doesn't spend
Jason
any
Foley.
money.
And Magic Man and El Diablo, $22. Team Fontanella, $10.
I mean, wow.
Zach Didino's Real Young Gun, $139.
You can't even get 2 meals at McDonald's.
Can I have a refund?
We go David Goodman, $140. Team Jacobs, $117. And Connor James, $116. So a lot of different values, which I like.
I think there's a lot of different strategies also behind these numbers. I think that teams like Team Fontanella, MMED, believe, not saying that's wrong or right, that they have found their savior that's going to lead them to the promised land. And they didn't waste time. Remember, they do expire. It's a whole new budget for the postseason, which is nice to know.
How much is that budget?
I'm not sure. I'm going to be sitting down with my commissioner this week, and we will be talking about that over lunch. So stay tuned for that.
Can we talk about...
Also, new rule implemented by the commish, IR slots next year.
That is a new rule that was talked about with Commish briefly. I think that could work. We have to talk to
He is not going to get a Russian.
the players' union and everything, settle it all up. Mama, you said you had something to talk about really
Can we
quick?
talk about the worst waiver wire pickups?
Go ahead, Mama. Go for it.
I just like to take a little jab at TCP once again.
I'm always up for jabs at TCP.
They spent $36 on Wendell Smallwood.
Did
Really?
it really?
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I
Thank
didn't
you,
catch
Mama,
that.
for bringing
Yeah.
that.
Well,
to my
we're
attention.
talking about that. How much did you spend on Ronnie Hillman font?
25.
Did he sniff the field?
Nope.
They're
Font's regretting that.
Wendell Smallwood. That's all I have to say. Moving on, Wendell Smallwood.
Smallwood, not Bigwood.
Hey, you
Smallwood.
want his jersey card? I got it.
That's a tragedy. He's even had cards
It's a
printed
tragedy.
on
No
him.
value.
That could come back and that could possibly hurt TCP later in the year.
They're already hurt. Possibly.
Yeah, they're already bleeding out.
Where are they going?
This is making it such an interesting. This budget is making it such an interesting way to go about the waiver wire, and we will stay tuned to see. I'm not going to be spending any more money on the waiver wire, that's for sure. But maybe teams like White Mamba will come and just make a splash week 10 or so.
I just find it interesting though. Like, say it was even lower than 10. What if you desperately needed, say, a kicker or a defense?
You can
like,
bet $0, which is it's reassuring for me that I can bet
Yes.
$0. But then you can have your assholes like, let's see here, asshole
Mike Didino, who picks up 8 kickers when Hauschka tears his hamstring.
and for $1 each, for $1 each no less.
Janice almost gets in the.
And then he's gonna try to shove it down my throat in a trade. Watch that happen. This was an interesting segment.
Absolutely, and let's have a shortcut right now. Quick shortcut to power rankings because this has been another back-to-back podcast episode. Let's get to power rankings.
Power rankings.
Feel the power!
Before we go, I want to see this play. Where's Jordy? Oh, fuck you.
Ty Montgomery.
No, he didn't get it.
The
What a
Dino
stand by the
gets
Bears.
stuffed at the line.
Stuffed at the
The
line,
Dino
Dino.
stuffed at the line. Suck on it.
It's been another fantastic episode, another podcast edition. So if you feel like falling asleep in one of your classes, pop in this weekly. It's going to be a great one. Dan Coster.
Thanks for coming on, Mamba.
As always, Michael Fontanella. A couple of these segments we'd like to possibly bring back. Hopefully we will. Good luck to all the other owners. Any final words, Michael Fontanella?
I think maybe we'll bring in a segment every week. It's going to be called the Money Watch, and basically in that segment we'll be talking about any players that were bought this week and remaining salaries, remaining budgets for each team. Dan Costa, we appreciate the time as always. Please come back. We'd appreciate it.
I will hopefully be back next week if I beat the Pickers.
Oh,
Please,
I got something.
please.
Something tells me he'll be back either way.
Please beat the Pickers. We would appreciate that very much. And we will see y'all next week. Dun, 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 dun.